Okay, let's talk about the symmetry object, which really doesn't generate geometry or make things as much as just mirror them. But I've started off with this sort of butterfly weird wing, an alien capital E that I drew in front mode. Because when you're drawing with the spline, it's always a good idea just to do it on one plane, top or front or right. It's never a good idea to do it in perspective. All right, if I want to get back to 4 views, I can always click this, and then I can click this to get to the perspective window being enlarged. But also, don't forget that there are the F1 keys, and F1 is perspective, F2 is top view, F3 is right view, F4 is front view, and F5 takes you back to all 4 views. So I'm going to hit F1 and leave it in perspective. I am now going to take my spline, which I have pre-drawn, and I'm going to throw it into an extrude NURB. I'm going to option click the extrude object, so that throws our butterfly wing inside of the extrude object. And I'm going to go to extrude and object and movement and have it move less along the z-axis, so it's not quite as thick there. And just to smooth it out a little bit, I'm going to go to caps. And I'm going to leave start and end cap both selected there, and I'm going to make the bevel about 5 centimeters. That's pretty good. Okay, so we got a nice rounded wing there. If I make it any more, I could obviously make the bevel more, but it sort of gets weird. Although that's kind of cool, isn't it? So depending on how much bevel you want, you can increase it. There on size, radius size. Okay, let's put this object, I'm going to call this wing. Let's put this inside of a symmetry object. And symmetry object is under the subdivision surface. There it is. I'm going to hold down option again so we can put our whole thing inside of symmetry. And that's pretty much what it does, right? If I grab my wing, let's see, where is my... Oops, it was hiding. My anchor point was hiding. Option D is how you hide these arrows in case you don't want them. I'm going to grab just the wing just to show you what symmetry is doing here. The symmetry plane happens to be along the ZY plane, and so when I move these things along, when I move the object inside the symmetry object along the x-axis, it moves it farther away. When I move it up, it does that. Yeah, so only in one axis does it make a real difference. But when it starts to get interesting is when you grab the rotation tool and you can flap your wings or you can tilt them and rotate them any which way. And you start to get really interesting compound shapes that way, right? It's kind of a bizarre, it's either an alien spine, one of the vertebrae in an alien spine, or some sort of weird black letter A that's been tortured to death. But that's a good example of something you can do with the symmetry object, which mirrors things. Catch you on the flip side.